Get ready for another exciting episode of We're Just Ken, where comedy meets life.
Ben, they tried to count us out, and we're back for another one. You know, they thought we were done. Here comes Henry. Hello, Henry.
What's up?
What's up, man?
I don't know. I thought maybe our guest would have a shirt, but I guess we're just doing whatever.
Quick, I'm just gonna hop in real quick, and then I'll hop out, and then I'll hop back in. Question for the chat: RFK Jr. What's he gonna do with our pre-workout supplements? Because your boy's buzzing. I'm flushed. I'm red. I'm feeling great. I cut my workout short just to hop in, just to save my spot. Then I'll be right back. But what's he gonna do with our workout subs? Is he gonna take our pre-workout away?
No, he's taking it to the moon, dude. You don't think that guy's cutting with some creatine?
Yeah, that's true.
Did y'all see? Do you ever watch? Hold on, Henry. You ever seen Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Okay, have y'all seen that meme on Twitter when it's Joe Pesci's character coming in and he's about to get killed?
Yeah.
And he's like having a good time, and it said RFK if he tries to ban RFK coming into the Oval Office if he tries to ban Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Gets trouble, have him killed.
Yeah. He walks in the garage. Where's everybody?
I haven't seen that.
All right, man, we'll hop back in.
I'll hop back in.
One love. I think just for our listeners, he was working out. I don't think this wasn't personal time. We're all on the company's time right now. Anyway, Ben, it's been a couple of weeks, and they're not clamoring as much as I think they're concerned about us because we already didn't have much going on personally. So then the pod was supposed to be, this special thing that is also near death, and so I think people were very concerned about us.
Yeah, I'm concerned about us. I'm concerned about the pod. It was really great during the summer when we didn't have a lot going on. And we had time, even getting into fall, you're not, especially you're in the middle of midterms and reading essays and whatever. I've obviously started a new job. And so it was a lot easier to schedule things. And not only that, my requests are like bouncy balls, man. I'm sending them out there and they're coming right back to me. I've probably asked no less than 10 different people in their different, respective fields. Got no luck on interviews. So I think it's just a busy time for everybody. I think that's a problem with everything right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the goal was never to make money or get any publicity. So I don't know. If we want to keep it up, it's pick up steam again at some point. It can be whatever we want it to be. But you're right, it's hard. I don't think I realized that's the most challenging part. If it were just me and you hopping on, we can always find 45 minutes. But to plan, and it's not just planning a few days ahead. Sometimes you got to, we've booked a few guests literally a couple of months out because of their schedules. And so to keep that up every week, to actually make it interview style when you're not getting paid and we both have full-time jobs is really hard. And I don't know if this is your feeling, but it's you kind of lose some motivation because it's man, it's a lot of work just to get somebody on Zoom for a couple of minutes. Yeah,
and it's one of those things we kind of went down our friends, and don't get me wrong, we have other friends we can ask.
We have tons of friends.
Tons of friends. Whether they're interested or not is another question. But it's also you want to get different areas, and us being from the kind of similar areas, we're kind of in our own bubble. And so we do have to get outside that bubble to ask people. And it's tough. I will say, I don't know if I ever told you his name, and I can't really say it on the podcast, but there's a guy that I asked back in, March or April. He's a big logistics guy.
Generic.
Well, I feel like logistics is not that generic.
Well, I don't know what it means, so.
Shipping and receiving. It's about Vandalay Industries. No, he knew everything from he was the expert whenever the Suez Canal got blocked, what that would do to shipping time, shipping costs. He knows everything down to the nth degree. And originally we had him scheduled back in June or July. I can't remember what it was. I think it was July, early July. We're going to have him on. And I would message him, leading up to it. He was one of those who was supposed to hop on, like he was good to go until like a Monday or whatever when we were going to interview him. And he canceled. Well, actually, he never canceled. He just never got back with me. So it's been like since then, he has not responded to anything. Well, now I just heard, I don't know if it's a rumor, but like he's on a short list to be an advisor for Trump.
Ooh.
Logistics and figure out kind of the issues with, shipping that U.S. is fighting and the costs and trying to maybe, open more ports. I don't know everything behind that, but it's just like, it's crazy that could happen. And I have a feeling if that does happen, we will not get him on. But it was pretty neat to see that. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe one day I can say who it was. I don't really want to blow him up. Not that our 7 listeners will, spread rumors about him or whatever. But
wait,
this is kind of cool.
This won't give it away, but is his last name Kennedy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It really is.
No, it's not. Are you serious?
I swear.
Oh, because I'm just being stupid.
Yeah, no. His last name is Kennedy. I don't think he's part of the Kennedy family.
Okay, 2 things. We need to come back to the Department of Government Efficiency and discuss why that's an oxymoron. But I had a question for you.
Dude, that's like, hold on. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Since we were almost suckling at the teat of power, since we almost had a guest on who might be high ranking, here's my hypothetical. If we had access to the big guy, what sort of department should you and I head up?
I feel like you would be, and this is no joke, a good Secretary of State. And I mean that you'd be like, we don't really care about relations with other countries.
I would on day one.
You'd be closing down embassies left and right.
I was going to say that would be the first executive order as we close down all the embassies. Well, no,
come home.
Some sort of like, because the Department of Government Efficiency, whatever it's going to be, is some sort of like made up department. And so I'm wondering what you and I would be good at. Maybe something like a liaison to pop culture. Like we feed the big guy shows and movies that he might want to watch in his free time. Like
the monkey video.
Oh my gosh. For people who are not listeners of the ticket, Gordo had this story about, or no, it was actually George had this made up story about how this is, 7 years ago, how Trump, this is like an Onion story. It said Trump would watch the Gorilla Channel for 11 hours a day and he would get mad if they weren't fighting. So he would make an intern like fast forward to the fighting scenes of the Gorilla Channel.
They had like in the story, the made up story, they had like a special broadcast or something that was only fighting. And then I don't know why George thought that was real, but it was funny that he would get mad and throw things at the TV if they weren't fighting enough. and so in the story, somebody would just put clips together of like monkeys fighting. And so they play that. And so he was happy. And there's a guy that actually believed it.
Yeah, I was like crying, laughing. Welcome back, Henry. He's getting set up. Hey, are y'all hearing me twice?
Yeah, I am. Oh, I think that's you, Henry.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, that's better.
AirPod's not working.
Well, no, I can hear you, Henry.
Okay, yeah, but I just wanted to kind of hone in on you.
All right, what's the play here? You gotta pump in, and now it's going to the dry cleaners?
Going to Lowe's.
I'm just so glad. There's not a kid in that seat as you're driving and on a podcast. That'd be a bad look.
No, you know what? Shame on you. First off, as a father, on both of you.
What do we do?
I don't know. I was gonna go off on a rant. I couldn't come up with it quick enough.
Is that a Roback hoodie?
Yes, Robacks. This episode is sponsored by Roback. All your polos, hoodies, joggers, pants. Promo code Ken20 for 20% off at checkout.
Exactly. Buy one, get one. Hey, Henry, one time, speaking of being on your phone in the car, I was at the coaches clinic in San Antonio, and I needed to get over to St. Mary's or whatever the college was.
Yeah.
So I had my phone pulled up, kind of like at eye level. I cross over a lane that apparently is like near the on ramp, so you can't do that or something. So I got dinged twice. The guy pulled me over. He gave me a citation for being on my phone and another one for changing into the wrong lane. It wasn't like oncoming traffic yet. It's something I wasn't allowed to do. So I was this close to asking him if he would prefer me to get like an old school map and just put it up on the dash instead of looking at my phone. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? And he was like, well, it's a San Antonio ordinance that you can't be on your phone. I was like, well, so, I wanted to fight it, but it was going to be a lot of time and money.
This hands-free contraption I got here, $20 at a gas station, and I use it to watch football games as I'm driving around.
That's good. We don't condone.
Yeah.
We're just Ken doesn't condone distracted driving.
Ken does not endorse. Ken does not endorse it,
I mean,
but we acknowledge it, but we don't endorse it.
No.
Hey, Henry, I asked you about the Roback.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know if you're on their email chain.
Yeah.
I get an email every morning and they have a new product.
Mm-hmm.
How do they do that?
I don't know, man. They got, I think there's so much out there too, because there's so many colors, and then they got it like heathered red. Like,
oh yeah, heather's great,
red.
Man.
Crimson, just a shade of red. So it's heather's great. Camos. Then now they've tapped into collegiate teams, and I mean, I think when they first kind of started popping off, I mean, the hoodie that I got was like $80. I think the first one. What are they now? Like they're over $100.
I think it's like 100, but usually you can get a 20% off coupon somewhere.
Yeah, you just hop around.
Okay. So this is just emails I've got. Yeah, Ken 20. So this was from 10:15 today. 20% off new Hezzy hoodies. Wednesday, early access, 20% off. Introducing toddler hoodies. Tuesday, just in the Stars and Stripes collection. The day before that, new saddle brown herringbone hoodie.
Oh, herringbone.
Literally the day before that, new true khaki Delta pants. The day before that, Fulton Performance vest and jacket. It's like, how do y'all have how is there that many new ones?
They just promo like each article of clothing, and then like a new.
It's a good new color or something.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Because they have all those. Pieces of clothing. They just like, all right, we got a new color. They probably had it, but they just like, boom.
Yeah.
Here's our
That's crazy.
The quarter zips are. Oh man, I don't know. I don't have enough.
Hey, how would y'all
bought stock early?
How would y'all describe your aesthetic changes in your 30s versus like your teens and 20s? Because I feel like I'm just now settling into a vibe.
Got that chain.
When I look back at high school, it was like the long gym shorts, like I was LeBron James or something, and like a monochrome T-shirt, like I'm just matching, never pants, like it was gym shorts and T-shirts all the time.
Tube socks, boat shoes.
Well,
honestly,
I think both of y'all have always had good style. I'd say at the very least decent style. I've had no style. I still have no style. I grew up thinking, and I was told by my mom, like that pretty much any blue together matches. So like royal blue shirt, navy blue shorts, we're good. Vice versa. Baby blue, royal blue, we're good. It's blue. It's in the same family. Same thing goes for red. Same thing goes for like literally every green. I thought that's how you did it. I just thought that's how you matched. And boy, am I wrong. And y'all have always had pretty good style.
Hey, an underrated blue, powder blue.
Powder blue. Very similar to baby blue. Well,
yeah. Carolina blue. I know that my wife still gives me so much crap because when I dress the boys, I'm just throwing on gym shorts, and a shirt. And I try to get close. If there's a little bit of red in the shirt, okay, red shorts. That'll just pull it out.
Yeah, tied
Oh, yeah.
I
together.
guess that's not cool, but we're big. We're very, very pro navy shorts, navy khaki shorts, and then whatever, just throw it on. It's easy. Any of those little Air Forces that we got them. I mean, it's
Dude,
style.
Air Forces are money. They go with everything.
Yeah. At this point, I'm not too concerned about what they look like because they're just going to get ketchup on it and they're going to fall in mud and whatever.
Hey,
Fall asleep eating wings.
Dude,
Around the sauce.
Dude, it was kind of cool. Like he's just locked in, ready for his wings. This is post school, right? I pick him up like at 3:40, 3:45. We got some time to kill before we got to get home for a T-ball game. Like, man, I haven't had lunch yet. Are you hungry? Yeah. I said, you want wings? He said, oh yeah. So we go.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it takes 20 minutes to get the wings at Wingstop.
Oh, forever.
But he just had to crash out he ate one wing and then he had to saw him put his head down.
I was going to ask, are y'all's, because Henry, you got 3, are y'all's youngest ones nuts? Because my little one, it's taking the clothes off every few minutes and just marker everywhere. And the other 2 were not like that at all.
The baby is picking up all the bad traits. And to him, that's like the way of life. So he's very much, the switch flipped about a week and a half ago where he's diving head first into dog piles now. And he's he's climbing up on tables. We can't keep him off the island. He's getting in the pantry and climbing. I mean, he's 14 months old. And I mean, he's trying to tackle the dogs as they run by. And he's getting just trucked. And we're like, and he'll cry for 20 seconds and pop back up. And I mean, he's not even there yet to where he can't. He's trying to undress himself. He just can't. He gets stuck, and then he's screaming mad. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
Yeah, my youngest is picking up Ford's worst traits, and it's funny because like with Ford, at least it's authentic. When he does something wrong. Like, and then Graham will try to copy him, and it's just like it doesn't even look good. Like, it's not even like you're just trying to copy it. I could tell that. And then Ford, dude, it's funny. Like Ford and Graham, Ford, he's always kind of up until like probably 6 months ago. Graham was just a nuisance that was there, and then like I'll tell you, once Graham started walking, actually, so probably a little more than 6 months ago. Man, they are freaking just head over heels about each other. They're fighting, they're running. They'll do everything together, and then boy, nobody can make either one madder than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't make them more mad than the other one. It is crazy the dynamic between, especially 2 boys.
Ben, how old is Graham now?
He's 25 months, 26.
So he's just like Mabel, because Mabel turns 2 on Monday.
Yeah, he turned 2 in May.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a new question for y'all. So we're in class yesterday talking about philosophy of comedy, and I asked the students, like, we're talking about what makes a joke funny and everything, and I asked them what kind of movies have had like a profound comedic influence on them. And I'll give y'all the actor's name, and y'all have to guess the movie of what one kid said. So it's an Adam Sandler movie. Which Adam Sandler movie do you think he would say was like had a profound impact on him?
Little Nicky.
All right, so that's Henry's guess. Ben, what's your guess?
Well, since you're saying it like that, I'm gonna say like Uncut Gems or something.
Okay, both good guesses. I think the obvious answer for like any sort of dude in college is Happy Gilmore or something. He said
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
He said Grown Ups.
That's a good kid, though. I mean, that's a kid that's probably not causing a lot of trouble if he loves Grown Ups.
In his defense, if you look at the overall theme.
Oh, Henry, no. No, don't defend Grown Ups as a comedy.
It's not very good.
I'm
terrible.
fully aware. I've seen them all, or at least 2 of them.
When Shaq was a big cop. Oh, God.
In his defense,
And he's got hair. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
the overall theme of friendship. If you take that
now you're gonna be
profound
cynical.
impact,
I don't like this.
In his defense,
It's so funny, man. I'll ask them, all kinds of mainstream movies that even when we were in college were not like obscure. Like we saw everything. And I feel like students now have not seen those classics or even like popular movies now. I'll ask them if they've seen, shows. I'll ask them if they've seen Succession or The Bear or any like popular show right now. It's just no across the board. So I don't know what the kids are watching.
But like Succession and Bear, like that, we weren't watching those in college, were we?
we're watching
Well,
Mad Men.
no, not back then, but like, yeah.
Yeah, Mad Men's.
It was like Mad Men, or like Carson was watching The Sopranos in high school. Like,
Yeah, Prestige TV.
exactly. And so we were, and even like late night comedy, like Letterman and Conan, I was into that in college, but kids now, other than maybe Fallon, they wouldn't even know who the rest are.
No, because they're watching like Reels and TikToks, and I mean, there's plenty of that already on there. Or YouTube, they got YouTube channels where they're watching comedians or watching. I don't know if they're even watching podcasts. I think they're just digesting, 15 to 2 minute videos at a rapid clip that it doesn't even register. Like, hey, I gotta go check this guy out again. How many times have I watched a reel and been like, oh, this guy's funny. If I don't follow him, I'll just forget about it. So
that's a good point, Henry, because I bet if you like took in Grown Ups in TikTok, like let's say like the funniest like 10, 15 clips from that, you'd probably think it was hilarious, like and that's not a shot at Grown Ups. That's just like, if you take the funniest portion out of whatever movie, like the kids, like you're going to automatically like it regardless if you've seen the whole thing. And I'll bet that's how like this generation, I know that's how a lot of the kids are. They literally take, hey, have you seen this? Oh, I've seen like clips of it. Okay. So you've seen TikTok or reels of it. Like,
Well, I even asked them, I was like, hey, what comedians do y'all like? I showed them some Bill Burr, but I was like, do y'all like Chappelle or whatever? Like very Chris Rock. And it's just like, they're looking at me like I'm crazy. Like they've never heard of who Dave Chappelle is.
Yeah.
So who would that be the equivalent of like when we were that age? So that would be like,
well, that'd still be Dave Chappelle.
Like Jerry Seinfeld. Like,
yeah.
I guess Chappelle's old enough. And
but even like Rock or
but they're older.
Like
but they're older, especially to them.
Yeah, but I'm saying these are still the guys who are getting specials every year. Like even if it's Pete Holmes or Joe Rogan or Nate Bargatze, it's like these are still popular comedians.
I'll say though, there's so many shows. Like everybody gets a special now, Colin. I think that's the problem. Is that
oversaturation of marketing.
If you get any views at all on like your own YouTube channel, you're going to get a Netflix special.
Matt Rife.
Well, Matt Rife's a good one. Yeah.
Well, but I'm just saying
he has some funny like bits, but I think Anna, take it for what it is. Anna decided to watch his stand-up. She said it wasn't very good. Like it's just not funny. Like she understands the difference between like a Chappelle set, or even like a Bert. Bert's
not funny.
He's not funny.
He's not funny.
He's a great storyteller and a podcaster, but he's not funny. His stand-ups are not funny.
Well, my point is just that like I don't think 20-year-olds now are familiar with mainstream anything. So
do they not watch Saturday Night Live?
No, I asked them that. They couldn't tell me a single skit that they had seen ever. And I was like,
I was watching
SNL when I was 12.
We were in Brownwood. We didn't have the internet was not what it was. Netflix, you had to go to Redbox, and that was that's how you got our movies. You know what I mean? Like subscription. Did we have subscription television or we didn't have.
But I say YouTube. YouTube is how we digested all the.
Yeah.
That's why I loved SNL.
Fine.
Like watching like Richard Pryor and all that SNL, dude. That stuff.
We had DVD sets of Entourage.
Yeah.
I have so many DVDs.
I went to my parents' house the other day, and the boys are going through cabinets, just pulling crap out, and they just start chucking stuff, and season 3, season 1, season 6 of Entourage. I'm like, man, I need to get. Speaking of spin-off podcasts,
Like an Entourage rewatch.
yep.
Hey, I will say culturally, I don't know if that show holds up.
That's what you need to do not a semester, but maybe I don't know, a 6-week period, like a Maymester. Just take 3
Yeah.
weeks and you guys break down the cultural phenomenon that was Entourage.
Hey, so speaking of, I got a class approved for a January semester called Humor, History, and Politics. And we were going to look at stand-up comedy and late night satire and how it relates to politics. And it was going to be a lot of fun, but like nobody registered. So I think I'm going to have to cancel it.
Dude, that would be hilarious. I loved, what was that class that McNeese did? Christianity, Ethics, and Politics, maybe? Like it wasn't
that
really
was-
comedy, but it was
No, he
very
did
much.
another one. Ben, we took one with him where we watched a lot of stuff. It might have been the 9/11 one. We watched like Charlie Wilson's War.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we all had that night class, but yeah, I remember watching a lot of stuff.
I took a class at Upper Iowa University, and they did like mini mesters. So there was like like 2 mini mesters in a semester, so you can load up on credits. But I took a class called television, and we got to watch like the Waltons, like the progression of television, and then the themes that were promoted through those times, and of course the ones that carry across, you know, generations. But towards the end, he's like, well, this isn't really television, but I want to tackle Saw. So we watched like Saw 1, Saw 2, and I don't know if Saw 3 was out yet. And by this point we had started basketball season, so I wasn't totally locked in. But basically he wanted to like break down the psyche of the main guy and like how his childhood could have, you know, caused the reason why he's doing these games and his insecurities and like what he's trying to. And I was just like I'm just
I'm out on that.
First it was like, okay, like cool, interesting, and then it was like, oh man, I don't know, maybe he's dealing with some stuff that he's got to
Shane would be all about that. Shane's Twitter timeline is pretty much just every like Saw in real life.
Hey, so what I did show the class was an hour-long special with Nate Bargatze, and he has I don't know if y'all saw his most recent one, but he has a bit where he's talking about the difference between your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and he says, 20s, your buddies say, let's go do something, and you tell them, like, I'll burn my house down right now if I have to, like, let's go. And then he says, 30s, you're like, all right, well, who's coming? he says your follow-up question in your 30s is like, all right, I'm going to drive myself. And then he said in your 40s, he said, you're like, A, I'm not coming, and B, I'm mad that you even thought I would come. I was like, dude, that is so perfect. Like I'm going to drive my own car is hitting.
I'm entering I just want to be invited. Like I'm probably not going to make it, but I'd just like to be acknowledged.
So like in between the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, I'm like 35, so I'm like I'm leaving the 30s. I'm gonna start leaving the 30s, so it's like, man, I really want to do that. I'm not gonna go.
It's like a buddy of ours getting married in Greece. It's like, man,
yeah, like
that's really cool.
Thanks for. Wait, was I even invited? I don't even know.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah. Seinfeld has a bit, or Pete Holmes has a bit. He says when you're married, the most fun thing you can do is cancel plans with other adults. So he says you're all this time and focus going into what the thing's going to be, and if they cancel and you're off the hook, he says that's the funnest thing you can do as an adult.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, not to change subject here, but that's 100%. I literally said that to Angie the other day. I forgot what we were talking about. It was like, there's nothing better than canceling. I would have liked to go. It's like one of those things like you like to go, but dude, when you cancel and you got free time, you know, as a parent, you just don't have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
Well, there's the whole element. This is the worst, and this is the very first world problem. The worst part of adulting when it comes to social events is the babysitter stuff, because you're on the clock and you're like, we got to be back, so we gotta crunch our fun time into 2 hours, and then we got to be home by here. Drive the babysitter home. Like it's not fluid at all. So it's like this scheduled fun that I think makes it not fun.
Plus, I pay way too much for a babysitter. So.
Yeah, at that part, I'm the opposite. Like finally we get to do something, and if it's without the kids, cool, because we don't, just like most parents, don't get a lot of alone time to ourselves. But if the plans are canceled, hey, let's not go do what we wanted time to go do something, but let's do what we want to do now.
Yeah.
So let's just go sit at your local establishment.
Sure.
Or just sit at a restaurant in
Let's just go to
peace.
Chili's.
Like have a conversation.
Go to Chili's. Let's just have like 5 servings of chips and salsa, and then you can have a marg. I'll have a couple. We'll have our adult beverages. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
And,
Presidente.
That's so. Family business is named Presidente Home Care. This is circa 2002. My dad and his really good friend at the time, both RN nurses doing home care stuff. They're working for other companies. They get together and they meet for a lunch, and they're talking, man, we can do this better, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, they meet like every couple of weeks, they meet back up, and they go one night and they're like, okay, let's do this. So they start having a couple of drinks and margaritas, and my dad's like, well, what are we going to name this thing? And then his former partner was like, Presidente Home Care. After he's a couple in, and my dad's not even, he's just like, man, that sounds pretty good. Like, I like that. That's my dad. My dad doesn't know. Like, oh, we just come up with it. And the other guy's like, yeah, I just looked down at the menu and I saw Presidente Margarita. And I was about to order another one. And that's how we got it.
Something's happening there, Henry. Oh, no. Okay, he just muted. He may try to reconnect.
Well,
that's hilarious. That's like a friend of mine. Her mom wanted to name him Nosmo King. Or maybe this is the comedy bit. I can't remember. But it's because she was loopy in the hospital, and the first thing she saw was no smoking. And she combined them. Like, I want to name the kid Nosmo King.
Hey, Henry, on this podcast that me and Ben listen to, the dudes are our age, and they talk about the best thing for a dude, like for a dad, is if you go on like a boys trip and you come home and the wife and kids, like let's say they went to her parents or something, so they're not home yet, and you just get to sort of like unpack and watch football. That's better than the boys' weekend, because when you got home, it's like uninterrupted. You can put your things away at a leisurely pace, because like 9 times out of 10, if people are not dads, they don't know this. Like, you get home at 9 a.m. on Sunday and you're going to soccer or church or whatever, like, is hitting you right there on Sunday. So
it's not even unpacking, Colin. It's straight to the couch. Straight to the couch. TV might be on. TV might not be. Or I'm finishing the podcast on the couch, just out. And if I get 20 minutes, that's great. If I get an hour, blessings.
And it's not your, like, it's all about the credit system. So this is not working against you because you were home and you were ready to take on your duties as a husband and father. So you're not losing any credit. Whereas like the boys' weekend, you lost some credit.
Yeah.
You get
and
back
then you
home
come in late. It's the boys coming in after lunch. Boys haven't napped all day. You walk right into it. I'm like, all right, you know what?
Picking up both kids.
Let me help get these boys down for a nap real quick.
I feel bad when that's the first thing I do when I get back, whatever I'm doing. If I get back like early afternoon, the kids are still up. It's like, we ain't doing this. Let's go. It's nap time.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, not that they should, but I know our wives don't feel bad for us at all.
No.
We got back from the draft, our fantasy football draft, and I can't remember what time I got back, like 2 a.m. or something, 1 a.m. And then I went straight I woke up at 7 a.m. to go drive for our church.
The church bus.
That was the biggest beating. And not only that, I took the boys with me, and no car seat. They're just kind of, just doing whatever they want to do in the back.
Now, Ben raises a good move, because in the decade of life in which we're in, the going home early and sleeping in your own bed refreshed for the Sunday, like that's a move.
Well, the problem is that our fantasy football, for some reason, we've never been at a place where everybody gets a bed. And I feel like now that we're in our mid 30s, like it's time to make the beds a priority for our Airbnbs. I'm going to run on that platform for our new fantasy football commissioner. When I win fantasy this year, and I'm picking, we're getting beds for everybody. All right.
Yeah,
Because I'm tired of getting there. I'm too nice. I'm not going to go kick anybody out of bed. But I'm sorry, like, Shane, you're tiny. Get your butt on the couch. Like, you're a tiny dude. You can sleep on one of the couch cushions. Like, get out of here. Pull the couch cushion out. You can make a full pallet out of just one couch cushion, Shane. Like, give me the bed. I'll share it with somebody.
Y'all like how we all have jobs and careers and we still want to have like a whole weekend and spend $40.
Oh, well, not all of us. There's certain people that'll.
Well, but I think
No
overall, I think the money is still like the first place we look at. It's like, how can we get out of here cheapest? Whereas like beds are not the priority. In fact, for those who were not there, which everyone other than us three listening probably wasn't there were like 5 beds for about 14 dudes.
Yeah, we slept. I slept on the couch. I think I slept maybe 30 minutes the whole night. We sat up and talked until, and of course, fantasy football weekend. What do we got to do first thing Saturday morning? Like, what's the best thing? Yeah, that's exactly right. You're already miserable when you wake up. Let's go get out in the hot sun for 18 holes, which I like it, but I don't even think you finished 18 holes, Colin. So
I was like 10 under on the back, and I just let the rest of the guys take some shots because at that point, what are you going to do? We only paid like $100 for the round, and I stopped after like a 13.
not a cheap. It was not a cheap golf course.
It was nice though. It was.
It was super nice.
Glenrose or what? It was cool.
Would you rather play there for 100 or I don't even know where we played that one year where there was no green on one hole. The green was just black.
Oh, that was like the Granbury Muni or something.
And then the first hole, you literally had, it was fairway grass for a green, and the hole, I kid you not, was this big. You remember that, Colin? Like, it was like that. It was like a bucket. It's like they just put a bucket in the ground.
We were like,
I don't think this is regulation. No. It had no COVID. It was not it was a freeze.
It wasn't even the green. They were redoing the green. So this was like
the freeze took out that freeze in 21 took out all the greens.
They had mowed like the rough low, and you were literally like chipping in to like a 15-inch hole.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking. It was like this big.
That's funny. I'm trying to remember the last draft I went to.
Probably Granbury, or probably back to Chris's.
With the lake house. Yeah. It was the one where somebody was caught on the ring camera.
The door cam?
Oh yeah, because they were they were just leaving late in the morning, and the ring camera caught them.
They were watering the plants a little early.
Sure.
Hey, Colin, let's get back to, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I want to talk about this Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah,
that's
Doge.
Okay with you, Henry.
Of course.
Have you ever read the book Catch-22?
Look at that time.
No, you'll like this. Have you ever read the book
I'm curious.
Catch-22?
What's it called?
Catch-22.
I know the premise, but no, I have not.
So the book, great book by Joseph Heller. In the book, obviously, Catch-22 is an oxymoron, right? That's kind of the gist of it. Well, the way that the Department of Government Efficiency, and I may be misremembering this from the book because I literally read it, I think my freshman year of high school, was that there was this person put in charge of government efficiency. I'm pretty sure it was or government intelligence is what it was. And it was like the dumbest person on earth. And I feel like that's what we're heading towards, like with the Department of Government Efficiency. This is no shot at Elon Musk or Vivek at all. I just think that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard of in my life, is that that's so government to create a government position to regulate government.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the tweet. What did he say? It was Vivek or Elon said something?
They said, well, their whole idea was that people think government's a bad word because it's inefficient. And so Vivek's point was, if we make it more efficient, the smarter people coming out of college will want to go public sector because it'll be more efficient and like prestigious. So I was rolling my eyes at that idea.
Yeah, that government could be that anyways, regardless of what you think.
I'll give you my quick spiel, which is not even mine. This is what Ludwig von Mises said 100 years ago, is that the government has no way to monitor efficiency because it doesn't have prices like the private sector. And so in the private sector, that's how we know efficiency. But in the public sector, when your clients are mandated, your customers are mandated to be citizens, there's no incentive for efficiency and there's no way to monitor efficiency because to get my driver license, I have to go to the DMV. So if they're very inefficient, there's no way to like quantitatively say that. It's just, oh, we think they're bad. But in a business, it's like we can look at numbers and prove they're bad, but you can't with government. So the idea of a Department of Government Inefficiency or efficiency, Freudian slip there, there's no way to do it. It's just a sort of generic, oh, I think they're doing better, but you can't look at it numerically. There's no punishment for inefficiency ever in the government.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like there are certain sectors where you can look at inefficiency. I mean, look at the Postal Service compared to like UPS, FedEx. Like, regardless of what you think of either one of those, like the USPS loses money every single year.
Right.
And if the UPS and FedEx lost money every single year, they would not be in business. And they do a very similar thing. Now, obviously on a smaller scale. I mean, look at Amazon. Like Amazon delivers as much as the Postal Service now. And even if you look at like NASA compared to, I mean, look at all these companies that are getting into this, I'll call it a space race. I don't know really what you call it. It just shows that how much money and bloated NASA was for years, that these companies can come along and break barriers that people thought you couldn't do, like reusing rockets. What a novel idea, not to waste something, but yet it took a private company to do that.
Well, when NASA is hiring actors like Tom Hanks, you know they're inefficient because that's not even about space anymore, you know?
That's true.
I do think, Ben, it's hard because some people's point is that, well, not everything is about efficiency. So I would give you an example of maybe particular entitlement programs or even something like public education. How can you prove efficiency in public education? I would say that would be challenging. It has to be more of like a qualitative metric. But I think a lot of what the government does should be held to the same standard as private industry in a way that we can prove inefficiency. You know, and the solution is not, oh, they need more money. It's like, no, they need to be scrapped. Like, we don't need this at all. Or, you know, certain sectors, I think. And so that's the problem, because you were mentioning NASA. People will say, well, what about, you know, space technology? Because look at what NASA did. And Mises's point was that, well, when you give all the money and capability to the government, they're going to produce something that doesn't prove what could have existed otherwise. So it's a hypothetical.
And for me, it's the growth in NASA, like from the 50s until like the 90s. There just wasn't a whole lot with the technology, you know, technological advances in that time. They didn't really advance that much. You know, we haven't been back to the moon since 1973 or something like that. Like it's just crazy when you look at how much money we've spent and how little we've gotten out of it.
Right. Henry, I wanted to go to our man on the ground. Weren't you telling us about like McAllen and South Texas and the election is sort of like unique, like it in terms of voting for Trump?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the last time a Republican candidate had all 4 counties red. And I know that there are a lot of and I again, very like uneducated in politics, but just even from my standard, there's a lot of people that are upset that the Valley was used as a platform for politicians to, I don't know, promote themselves.
Yeah, like grandstand.
Really, immigration is a way of life down here, and those issues. I mean, my family, you know, my grandparents came on my mom's side came across. My mom was born in Mexico, and they got their citizenship, and so it's no one that comes across, you know, they're coming across with great intentions, and so to everything to be kind of weaponized in such a way was offensive to a lot of. They were treating it like we were uneducated about the topic when we're firsthand living it.
Yeah.
And we are seeing, different pockets of different. And we see the people coming across, and they hop on the bus and they go elsewhere. So I have plenty of friends that are in the Border Patrol that are like, this needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
There's lies being told. There's, people have this idea. We have like my wife's family from Louisiana. They're always calling and they're checking in. And that, like, oh, we don't see anything. We don't hear anything. That's not to say that it's not going on, but it's being handled to some degree. But I mean, I got buddies that are working shifts, hours that are they're just unstaffed. They don't like the policies. A lot of people's hands are being tied. So, it was eye-opening, but it was what the people spoke. The people spoke when they said that.
Hey, Henry, how long did it take your mom's dad and then even your mom to become citizen? How many years was that?
So, my mom actually got her citizenship when I was 10 or 11. I remember going to the ceremony, and both my grandparents did that too. So they were probably, this is probably like 25 years ago. So I mean, it took them a while, but it was something that.
Well, like one point was that like
they wanted to do, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard that it takes there's a coworker of mine. Her husband finally got his citizenship. It took 25 years. Like, wow. You talk about inefficient. Like,
yeah.
We're putting the government in charge of more reform when it comes to immigration. It took them 25 years, and they were paying taxes the whole time. They had the EIN number. They didn't necessarily have the social. They had or not an EIN, whatever it's called. It takes that long to become a citizen. That's what.
I don't know from start to finish how long that process was.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know I've never been told one time that it was efficient and it was quick.
Yeah,
and so it's funny is you're telling people like, well, they should go the right way. Like, okay, well, the right way is broken. Can we at least agree on that? Yeah. That regardless of what you think about immigration, like the right way to become, get that piece of paper and that citizenship, like that's broken. So let's fix that, and then maybe everything else falls in place. I don't know. It's just another thing, and maybe that's what Vivek and Elon freaking Musk is going to do. As he's running Twitter and running Tesla, I'm sure, he's got time to really, and not to mention what's the acronym for their government?
Doge.
Doge. It's named after a stupid meme coin. And if people don't know what a meme coin is, like it's the. Man, I really feel like we're on the edge here, guys. And again, I don't hate any of those characters by any means, but it just seems like we're in a simulation. Like this is like a joke. If this is really going to happen.
Didn't you say, Ben, that your neighbor got mad at how big your Trump flag was? Like he wanted you to take it down?
Yeah, he said it was putting shade on his wife was trying to sunbathe in the backyard, and.
See, at my house, I have a sign that says, like, we believe for Cowboys game, the curtain should be closed. The sun should not be a problem, and neighbors coming by and taking signs out of my yard. All right, boys, I got to go in a minute. We need fantasy predictions for the weekend. For me, it's that I win because I'm on a bye week. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm almost a lock for playoffs.
You're pretty close.
Playoffs. We talk about practice, Henry.
So I didn't even think we've been locked in T-ball, man. We're going
takes a backseat to T-ball.
Yeah. My middle, he's 3. Cruz, he's a stud. And I'll bring him up every single time I can. Cause he's the one. He's got Monday, Wednesday. Lou, 5 years old. He's got Tuesday, Thursday. So we're at the park every night, and Thursday night after the game, we're on the way back to the car, and my son, he's locked into Lou. They're both locked into football. Dad, who plays tonight? Thursday night football. He says, are you going to go we don't go for the Eagles, so we're going to go for the Commanders. He knows the schedule. better than I do. I said, yeah, we'll go for the – and then I remembered last week I had to start 2 tight ends, and that left A.J. Brown on my bench.
Didn't you lose?
Luckily,
no, you beat Chris.
Yes, I did, thanks to a great defense. But I
Hey,
just like immediately like,
shout out
why am I still in this league? Yeah, I do have 2 defenses also. I'm very much team multi-defense.
Hey, don't give
Okay,
the
well, Colin had 3 defenses that had multiple points.
don't give the bag away.
Well, last week I didn't play T. Higgins. I was told by a guy. It's okay. I made up that story, guys. I use the optimize every week on Tuesday. I do the optimization tool on it just so if I forget on Thursday to set my lineup, I've got it. Like usually I go in on Thursday. You know, it takes out all the buys. I'm sure people listening are just enthralled by this. Well, T. Higgins every single week is like slated to play the next week. Like he's not ruled out. And I just honestly, man, it's so hard for me to keep track of like Thursday night football with everything going on. And I always check it on Sundays. And like I just don't check it on Thursdays. And that's loser talk. I'm still in the playoff picture. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose to Shane this week. I really hope I don't though. Oh man, if I Shane guys, I'm going off.
I got CJ Stroud versus the Cowboys, so I think I should be okay. I'm facing Jake the Great. Not so great this year.
Nah, he sucks.
He's not gonna watch this, so he'll be all right.
People taking shots at me all the time, but I just simply respond politely, like, "Look at the leaderboards. I'm way up there." So it's lonely at the top. So people taking shots at my strategies and my defenses, I don't really get it. I feel kind of like Christian Bale in The Big Short, where he was like the only one that gets it. You know, like I'm playing 4D chess here, Ben.
I was gonna look at the you scored. You're the second least scoring team in the playoffs right now. No, I'm sorry, third. So I wouldn't just
that's confusing. So in other words, I'm the third leading scorer.
Okay. Yeah, there's only 6 teams. You also have the most points against, so I guess I can't say that.
I told you, I'm a dog. I'm a defensive boy.
You're a defensive boy.
All right,
I guess we lost Henry. All right, man.
I gotta
play
go.
us out.
Here's the outro. One love.